Deborah next in Laverne, Tennessee, listening on Bot Radio. Hi, Deborah.
Hi, how you doing, Hank?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. My question is, it's not a direct question, but I just wanted your opinion and take on something. I heard on another Bot Radio program about a pastor at El Shaddai Ministries near the West Coast talking about blood moons and how God possibly, he did not say definitely, could communicate with signs from the heavens because he has done so in the past. And I was just curious what your take was on that because, you know, he went to NASA and he matched up a lot of the holidays and certain major events of history at when these certain things kind of collided at the same time. And I'm skeptical and just curious, does God still do that? Would he still do that? And is he possibly going to do that with us?
Well, no. I mean, there's no validity to it whatsoever. The details are a good example of the perpetuation of urban legend, misinformation, and this is the kind of thing that I was talking about at the beginning of the show. There's no place for this in the Christian world. It sells well, I have to admit. It's titillating people's sensibilities. They oftentimes enjoy that kind of titillation. And sometimes it's just confused. A good friend of mine who has been a model Christian for many years sent me an email just a couple of weeks ago, or I think it was a week ago, and asked me about this very thing. He heard what he thought was a very cogent, coherent explanation of the four blood moons and thought, wow, is there any validity to this? So he wrote me, and I wrote him back a first, furthermore, finally explanation on why there was no validity to this whatsoever, and that put his heart at rest. So there were a lot of people who unfortunately hear this from quote-unquote credible people on credible platforms, and they are, as a result of that, misled, misguided from the serious study of Scripture to sensationalism and sophistry, and even script torture, which is a big part of the process, that is, the torture of Scripture.
It was pretty much our take on that as well. It just was curious because I guess we hadn't heard of it before, and then it sounded, like you said, very interesting because it seems like things line up. But my understanding is a lot of times if you look backwards, you can make anything happen in a lineup that you want, but what about all the other things that didn't line up? It's not really a good balanced look at anything historically, so how could you predict forward?
Yeah.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it does. And again, according to John Hagee, who has written a book in this regard, he says there are going to be four blood moons on the forthcoming Jewish holy days. And the four blood moons that will occur in 2014, 2015, he says, follow a series of four blood moons that already occurred in history and correspond to significant events relating to the Jewish people. But what he's saying, again, has no basis whatsoever in reality. I do have information available on that. If you'd like to hang on, we can send it out to you. But this kind of sophistry, sensationalism, and script torture has no place in the Christian world. Shame on him.